Welcome back to another class on Halacha for women. Today we're going to just do a little bit something different than usual, only to better understand what Rav Yitzchak Yosef Shita is saying. So we're going to begin with the Shulchan Aruch in the Mishnah Berurah, have a better understanding of what is really going on, and then we'll read the Halacha and you'll see it will be clear. The Shulchan Aruch in Simon Ein Hey, in Halacha Aleph, this is the Halacha he brings down. Tefach megule be'isha. If you have a tefach which is open by a woman, b'makom shedarka lechasato, in a place where it's normally supposed to be covered. Now, how much is a tefach basically? Let's do like this. How much is a tefach? Let's just see. I'll tell you like this. So tefach will be 4 thumbs. So I'm just gonna just see how much is gonna be in inches. Okay, let's see like this. So we're looking about 2 inches. The Shulchan Aruch is saying like this. If a woman has, what's a tefach? Tefach literally is, this is called a tefach. But you don't measure by the fist, you measure by the thumbs. So it's about 2 inches. So whenever we say tefach, understand that it's going on 2 inches. Or maybe I'll just say 2 inches so it'll be easier, it will be easily understood. If a woman has 2 inches that is open on her body, where it's normally covered, for example, let's say we live in a place right now where women cover their hands up until the wrist. Everybody does it. Or, let's go the other route. We live in a place where everybody has to cover up to the elbows. Past the elbows, nobody's going to allow you to have it open. So let's say like this. So since everybody has to have their upper forearm closed, now what happens if a woman is wearing a short sleeve? So from the elbow, it's open 2 inches. So once it's open 2 inches, we're going to see the halach over here. Can a guy recite Shema not looking at it, just facing it? Just imagine me sitting like this, and there's another woman, even my own wife will see, there's another woman sitting in front of me. I'm on the bus or on the train. I'm not even looking. I don't even know that she's there. It's just I am against, meaning she's in my vision. And she has 2 inches open on her forearm. Am I going to be on the upper forearm? Am I going to be allowed to recite the Kriya Shema, or maybe say a bracha, or maybe speak words of Torah? The halach is going to tell us it is asur. That means to say, now that we understand this, let's go a little bit deeper. If a woman has, according to the Shulchan Aruch, if a woman has 2 inches open from the collarbone, from over here, right, from where the bone over here is, she has 2 inches open basically. Let me see how much 2 inches will be over here. Let's say, it's not even a lot. Okay. All right, so almost a thumb. She has 2 inches, almost a thumb open over here. Yeah, a thumb. Yeah, almost, literally a thumb. Wow. So this is basically 2 inches. If we take the collarbone, and I'm gonna go down right now, and let's say from here, so over here, this much. If she has open space, I'm not speaking about where women dress up completely open like this, where that's a very big no-no. That's asur 100%. That they should have these their breasts basically protruding out. Guys, I understand this is a women's class, but I have to speak so women understand what is going on, because it's not so simple to be dressed like that. It is asur to have anything below the collarbone. But now we're dealing with the halachot of reciting Shema, saying berachot, and learning Torah, where there is a woman that is coming to a shiur, or she's in a wedding, or under the Shabbat Brachot, or in the yeshiva, doesn't matter where, or even the husband is at home sitting, and his wife wants to be comfortable. She wears a pajama with a button-up shirt, but the button-up shirt, let's say, is open like this. For example, what's going to end up happening? Can the husband recite Kriya Shema? Can the husband speak to his wife words of Torah? Remember, he is not looking there. It's just in his vision. Is he allowed to say Shema? Is he allowed to learn Torah? Is he allowed to say berachot? Absolutely not. But it's his wife, correct. The halacha is tefach megula be'isha b'makom shedarka lechasota. If you have a tefach, meaning if you have 2 inches, which is opened by a woman in a place where it is normally supposed to be covered, afilu hi ishto, even if it's your own wife, asur likrot kriya shema kenegdo. You're not allowed to recite the Shema against her if she's in your vision. The Mishnah is going to tell us even words of Torah, even barachot, you're not allowed to. It is a very severe sin for when a woman is dressed in an immodest way. And unfortunately, the trend became that even the religious women started dressing up a little bit more modern. Now, a lot of you are not going to like it. You're not going to be pleased maybe with this class. But you have to understand, to dress in a modest way, every single second that you are dressed in a immodest way, you are doing isurim from the Torah. It's one thing when you are at home. It's another thing when you are outside in the public where other men stumble on you. And again, I agree with you. They shouldn't be looking your way because you want to look good. You want to look good? No problem. Do it in a modest fashion. Buy clothing that are covering your skin. But not to go and reveal your body parts to other men. Sometimes you have women that go to the parties or weddings or bar mitzvahs, right? And they have dresses that are open in the back. Not allowed. A woman, she has a long skirt, religious. Rabota, again, I'm not going to tell you that I walk outside with my eyes closed, because I don't walk outside with my eyes closed. I walk outside normally. And you do see things. But you have to understand, women sometimes they dress up, they come to parties, they have nice long dresses where it doesn't, not mamish, fully modest. But on the bottom, by her thigh area, by her leg area on the bottom, she has a slit. She has a cut. The Gemara says a woman who dresses like that is chas v'shalom rabotai, considered to be like a zonah, like a harlot. Because that little skin as she walks, when her legs open up, that is going to entice a guy more than a woman who's completely undressed, chas v'shalom. Because that entices him. Women need to be careful. Again, I'm explaining from the beginning. It's nothing to do with you that you have to worry about yourself. It's more to do with the men, the fact that they're not able to control themselves. So that you have to understand, whenever you go to a shiur, and the rabbi wants to deliver his shiur, that's another problem if a rabbi is allowed to deliver to shiur to a woman. He wants to deliver, no problem. They can sit on one side, the man can sit on the other side, or the man can sit on the bottom floor, like we have in shuls, and the woman can sit on the top floor. But to be giving a shiur directly to women, and a lot of times women come immodest, and they come with perfume, and they're completely open, and they come dressed. They don't come ugly looking. They come, they want to look decent. If you want to tell me that this guy is able, or this rabbi, whoever is giving the lecture, is able to look at the woman and to give the discourse without having any bad thoughts, the Shulchan Aruch says you're not allowed to recite the Kriyat Shema or any bracha or any divrei Torah, even though you're not looking at her. She is in your vision. Again, I could be sitting. Sometimes I'll give you a nice case. Sometimes a person sits, right? He's just sitting like this. Now you daydreaming, and things could be happening in front of you, but you're not paying attention because your mind is somewhere else. And now you want to go and say shahako. Can you say it when you have a woman that has 2 inches open? Absolutely not. So you have to explain to me, how's it possible that today you have, I don't know if I should say rabbis or not rabbis, how's it possible today that you have people giving discourses to women like this? It is asur al pi halacha. It's a very big problem. There was a very big rabbi that was doing it. I actually confronted him about this issue because I followed him. I'm talking about maybe 15 years ago now. And you know what he told me? He says, Rabbi, you're 100% correct. At that time I was not a rabbi. I'm just saying, He says, Rabbi, you're 100% correct. He says, I want you to know the way I give shu'urim to women, because nobody else is able to deliver the same way I deliver. So what do? I said, yes, please tell me, what do you do? He says, when I take off my glasses, he says, I can't see anything. But that's not enough, he says, for me. When I take off my glasses, I can't see anything. That's number one. Number two, the woman will sit a good 15 to 20 feet away from me. And number three, I will have two husbands from one of the wives sit right in front of me. So when I'm speaking, I'm literally really speaking to them, and the women are listening to my lecture. I will tell you the name, Rabotai. He's a very reliable rabbi. That makes sense. If you don't have a woman that's able to teach like a rabbi, he was speaking specifically about halachot nida, that I could understand. Fine, you have two men in front of you, you take off your glasses and so on and so forth. That's exactly, Rabotai, how this whole class happened. The class halacha for women came about because of one woman. An elderly woman. I'm not even talking about a young girl. I'm talking about an elderly woman, maybe in her 60s, came up to me and said, Rabbi, can you give a lecture for women? I said, I can't give lectures to women. She says, I will do a gathering. We need to be educated in halachot of women. I said, I'll tell you what. I'll do something else. I'll do something better. She says, what's that? I said, I will put it into recording. I'll take time from my day and I will put it into recording. So not only can you can watch it and your friends, but other people can also benefit. So this learning is almost on her behalf, on her zechut. Because she's the one who I didn't want to do it directly to women. It's not so simple what the halacha says. A lot of rabbis, when they do it, they make sure that women sit on one side, men sit on one side. Yeah, from time to time we'll see you're allowed to look at the woman, right, on their faces just to get a glance, and then you go back to the men. But to have men and women sitting mixed in a lecture, that's a very big no-no. There is a chazon ish. I never saw it inside. Actually, I shouldn't say it because I never saw it inside. But it was a very big gadol that said it, so I can rely on him. The chazon ish says when you are dealing with kiruv people, meaning kiruv richukim, when you deal with people that don't know nothing about Hashem, they don't know nothing about Torah, they don't know nothing, and the only way for us to bring, like, they will michalol Shabbat, they will eat on Yom Kippur, they eat not kosher, they don't know these things. They'll sleep around. They don't know. If you educate them, they'll know. If these people are going to give us now an ultimatum that we want to sit together, or we're not going to listen to your lecture, we're going to over there, we'll tell them we could be lenient, because without us, they're going to do the averos. It's not like we're really letting them. The chazon ish says, it's just they're going to do it without us. At least by us now letting them sit like that, and they're listening to words of Torah, over there we're going to tell you that is permissible. But in a regular case, and what we have today, where people know what Shabbat is, nobody eats on Yom Kippur, Baruch Hashem, women cover their hair. Rabotai, it's very important to make sure that women sit separate and men sit separate. A woman came up to me and asked me a halachic shayla. She said, Rabbi, is the hair covering on my head, is this fine? Because there's a very big argument. Does a woman have to have her head covered or her hair covered with a mitpachel, with a scarf, versus a wig? It's a humongous machlokut. Right? Chacham Ovadia says only mitpachel, only a scarf. Other rabbis will allow you to even wear a wig. Ask your local rabbotai what to do. But she came and she was wearing a mitpachel. She was wearing a scarf. She said, "Is my scarf perfect? Like literally, like you could see. I went to the store, whatever. I saw her in the store. Is my scarf perfect? Or is there any hair that's sticking out?" And I tell you, literally it was covered from here, like to the ears, like there was no hair sticking out. But I did mention to my wife, to her, that she's so she's so particular about the scarf, she completely forgot about the dress code. Why? Because her dress code was a skirt that was almost maybe 3 inches above her knees, which is a problem. By Ashkenazim, a little bit below the knees is fine. By Sephardim, Chacham Ovadia says it has to be longer. She was wearing 2 inches, 3 inches above her knees, and the shirt that she was wearing was literally open like this. Again, I want to make something clear. You have to remember, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you didn't say it. No. When you speak to a person, like you see me right now, I'm speaking to you, you don't only see my face, you see my entire body. Same thing when a guy looks at a woman. He doesn't only see his face. He sees her. You're not staring there, but you see the woman's whole body. So I told my wife, I said, explain to her next time that being worried about the hair coming is nice. But she also has to understand to be covered over here is important and to wear skirt below. And she was a religious girl. Maybe she didn't know. Probably she didn't know. I'm not the Chas v'Shalom here to judge anybody. We are here to educate what the halacha requires of us. You know, there is a Chazal, Masechet Barachot. It says, what zechut are women going to have in order to be able to get Olam Haba? What zechut? The Gemara says for sending the boys to yeshiva, so for sending her sons to yeshiva, putting them on the bus or taking them, doesn't matter, and sending her husband to learn Torah at night and waiting for him late at night to come from learning Torah, that's what's going to get her into Olam Haba. According to this Gemara Masechet Barachot, I don't recall the pages exactly. According to this Gemara Masechet Barachot, comes out that if a wife has a husband that doesn't learn Torah, that she's not going to have any Olam Haba. That's the way it comes out according to this Gemara. She can do mitzvot, she can do everything right, correct. But her key to get into Olam Haba is her husband's Torah. I forgot the name of the book. I forgot the name of the rabbi of the book. He comes and he asks a question. I'm very happy that you told me right now that if a woman sends her husband to learn Torah, she gets Olam Haba. What's going to resurrect her? What's going to give her Techiyat HaMetim? Is it the husband's learning Torah? So this particular sefer, this particular book, the rabbi wants to say, no, the husband's Torah is not going to resurrect her. The husband's Torah is going to resurrect him. A person who learns Torah is going to have Techiyat HaMetim. A person who doesn't learn Torah, he can do all the mitzvahs in the world. He get a nice big Olam Haba, but he's not going to be resurrected. That's why it's very important for women to send their husbands to learn Torah. Even for themselves, the husbands for themselves is good. But in any event, comes this rabbi and he says, if the Torah of the husband is not going to resurrect her, then what is? Listen to the answer the rabbi gave. Haval, I'm telling you, I didn't actually want to say all this. I didn't prepare for this. I just want to say, but if Hashem put it in my mind, I say it. Because when we speak, it's mamash comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Alright, whatever, I'm not going to look for it right now. Shh. Oh. I think it was the Bnei Sachar. Okay, I have a lot of books, but I have to see which one it was. In any event, comes this rabbi and he says like this. He says something beautiful. He says, do you know what's going to resurrect a woman in Techiyat HaMetim? Her modesty. Why? Because when a woman is fully clothed, when she's completely covered, and a lot of times it's uncomfortable, especially in the summer, she starts sweating. That sweat that she's sweating when she's hot because of her clothing, that's going to give her the resurrection. What's his proof? He says, just like a guy. Why is the Torah going to resurrect him? Because when a person learns Torah, it's not you learn Torah, you're relaxing and listening to a shur. No, when you learn Torah, you have a highlight pen, paper, you break it at this book, that book, this book, that book, right? I showed you guys on the previous shur. What is the Shulchan Aruch? You have to go over every little thing. And you toil, it's sweat, it's pain. That toil is going to resurrect the guy. So what's a woman's key to get resurrected? Her modesty. A woman's key to resurrection is her modesty. Because when she's modest in the summer and it's hot and it's hard and she's uncomfortable, beautiful, that uncomfortability is gonna get her Techiyat HaMetim. Understand that. But to be immodest and to show the guys your body for what? Rabotai, for what? Trust no one. There's a story that's brought down in the Gemara. There's a story that's brought down in the Gemara with two friends. One of them was married, the other one wasn't married, but the other one had money. So the married man was a regular average guy, married. But his friend, he was very rich, was not married. One day, the married friend got into a debt. He needed a loan. He went to his friend, said, "You have to help me out." He said, "Of course I'm your best friend. No, I'll help you out." If I'm not quoting the story exactly, I'm trying to bring out a point. I don't have the Gemara in front of me. I like to say the way it is, but I'm paraphrasing. So the friend said, "Listen, I'm your best friend. Of course I'll help you out. How much you need?" He said, "I need a few $1,000. Okay. I'm talking about in the times of the Gemara, he needed a lot of money. He gave him the money. He says, "When you plan to pay back?" He says, "Give me a year, 2 years. Let me get back on my feet. I'll pay back within a year or two." He says, "Okay, no problem." After 2 years have passed, the friend comes up to me and he says, "Listen, you owe me the money that I have lent you. It's already the second year. It's going on to the third year." So I can't help it. Things are not going well. I'm having problems and so on and so forth. So the friend says, "You know what? I'll tell you what. Work for me. I'm a big guy. Work for me. And like that, I'm going to detract your payment that you owe me." He said, "That's such a good idea. You're such a good friend." Continues the Gemara. The Gemara says the guy was working for him 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and he was cutting down on his debt. One day his friend comes and he says, "It is so hard that he's not making money and his wife is always complaining, his wife is always whining. Why don't we have this? Why don't we have this? Why don't we go on vacation?" And she's always nagging him. So the best friend said, "Listen, you can't continue living life like this. How are you going to continue living life like this? Divorce your wife, it'll make it easier for you." He thought about it for some time. Eventually he divorced his wife because really he wasn't able to support himself and his wife. One day, his best friend, the rich guy, tells him, "I'm having dinner today with a special lady. And I want you to come. I want you to cater to us. I want you to make it very special. Don't mess up. I want you to be professional. Waiter, the towel, everything. Come dressed, clean, smell good. I don't want you to mess up on this date of mine." He says, "No problem. Where am I going to see you? Which restaurant?" He says, "In my house. I have a mansion. I have other people cooking. All you got to do is bring out the food and pour the champagne or the wine, whatever I'm going to ask you." He says, "That's all? That's all." Comes the date. The rich guy says, "Waiter, please, can we have a cup of wine for me and my friend over here?" The waiter comes. Remember, he comes as a waiter. He's not looking, not in. He comes, he has a cup. He's pouring the wine to the guy. He says, "Thank you." He's pouring the cup of wine to the woman. She says, "Thank you." When he hears the word "thank you," he realized that it was his own wife that his best friend said to divorce. He dropped the bottle of wine, it broke. The Gemara says, Hashem said, if I can have people like this, that go like that to do one another, to cheat one another, instead of giving a hand, you made this guy to go worse and worse and then divorce his wife. And now you took his wife. He says, if that's the case, he says, for that I'm going to destroy the Beit HaMikdash. That's one of the interpretations they say. That's why the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. If you can have people like this in the world. Why am I saying this? You can't trust no one. It's not my words, Rabotai. The Chachamim say it. Al tamin ba'atzmecha ad yom motecha. Listen to the words that I'm saying. Al tamin ba'atzmecha ad yom motecha. Don't trust yourself until the day you die. Wait a minute. Who's the only one can we trust besides Hashem? Ourselves. The Gemara in Pirkei Avot says, not the Gemara, the Pirkei Avot says, Al tamim ba'atzmecha ad yom motecha. Don't trust yourself until the day of death. If I can trust myself, how can I trust anyone else? Because you can't trust anyone else. Especially when you're dealing with men and women. Especially when it comes to the laws of Yichud. You have no idea how many marriages, how many relationships, how many problems come out because of this. In any event, I want to get back into the halacha. If I did go off tangent, understand there's a reason why I'm saying this, because it is not so simple of how we are living today. Women need to understand we have to make an institution in the community, in the city, in the country, doesn't matter, that when people come to weddings, when people come to parties, they have to come presentable. It doesn't make sense to me that when a lawyer says everybody has to be presentable in the court, everybody comes to a suit, tie, everything. But when it comes to the Jewish people, when Hashem says, when you come to my parties, when you come to my batei kanisot, my batei midrashot, when you come to my events, that I gave you that merit to marry off your children, to do the bar mitzvah, to do the brit milah, to do the bat mitzvah, to do your birthday parties. Don't you think the least we as human beings can do is show Hashem a very big thank you by dressing modest and not making other men stumble? There's a very big gadol in Eretz Yisrael. He says, a woman, if she would only know from the time that she comes out of her house to go to the store and come back to her house, if she would only know when she's immodest, how many men stumble, meaning they start thinking bad thoughts. They start chas v'shalom being with their wives. They think about other women. I could source everything for you guys. They can start doing zer levatah. They could start. I'll say they can start masturbating. There's a lot. Why? Because she caused it. And today, in the sick world that we're living in, the phone does all this for us. And everybody's very desensitized when it comes to these things. Don't forget, you have little girls growing up. You have boys in your house growing up. We as parents need to take these things into our control, into our hands. We need to be modest. Because we want to show the right example to our children. Don't think just because you married, that's it. If a mother wears this kind of skirt, the daughter's going to wear this kind of skirt. Make no mistake. As parents, we have very big influence on children. Don't think they're not looking at us. On the contrary, they're hawking us like a hawk, constantly looking at us. I want to be like Abba. I want to be like him. I want to be like Abba. I want to be like him. I want to be better than them. I want to make them happy. So if what we show them, for example, if I'm going to sit and learn Torah, my kids want to impress me, they're going to sit and learn Torah. If a woman is going to be modest, if the daughter is going to want to impress her, the daughter is going to be, and she's going to go and she's going to be modest. Rabotai, educate ourselves, our children, modesty. Modesty, it's actually also the Zohar culture brings it down. Only if you knew how many bad things happen when a woman is immodest. It's very severe, very severe. No bracha, no parna, nothing. Or you're going to tell Rabbi, we see people, they have everything. Trust me, they have nothing. Just because a person has money in the bank does not mean he's a successful person. What defines a successful person? The relationship he has with his wife. The relationship he has with his people. The relationship he has with his children, with his family members. I know people that have a lot of money. They don't speak to their parents, divorced from their wife, children don't want to even speak to. So what's your money in the bank worth? Who's the money? Who's going to inherit that money after you? For who you're doing all this? If not for your wife and children. That's what Rabotai understands. Success is not really based off what car you drive, what kind of house you live in, how much money you have in the bank account. Success is based off the relationship you are building with your wife, your children, your family, and the people around you. Do people like you? Do people hate you? And so on and so forth. Okay. Wow. I think I'm over my time. Should I do this halacha? You know something? This halacha for women is supposed to be only 10 minutes. Oh. All right, you know something? Let's do this. I'll do it anyway. Whoever has the zechut to listen will listen. If not, I can't help it. But I have to get this piece out there. The Shulchan Aruch says, Tefach migula be'isha. If a woman has 2 inches open in a place where it's supposed to be covered, like we spoke about, either here, or either even by the over above the knees, or either over here or the back, doesn't matter, or by the thigh, doesn't matter. Any place that is supposed to usually be covered, and now it's open 2 inches. Afilu hi ishto, even if she is your wife, asur likrot kriyas shema keneged, you're not allowed to recite the kriyas shema in front of her. Comes the Mishnah Berurah and he explains why is that so. So he says over here, מפני שזה מביא לאדם לידי הרהור כשמסתכל בו. Because since it brings a man to bad thoughts when he looks at her. Bichlal ervahi. Therefore, we're going to say this piece over here, 2 inches open over here, or even 2 inches open over here, is considered as, it's no different in the Shulchan Aruch, also paskins in your day, and that's what he's telling us over here, Bichlal ervahi. It's considered to be in the rule of erva. What does that mean? A person, when he looks at a woman in a tefach where it's open, it's as if he's looking at the erva. What does the erva mean? A woman's private part, her nakedness. So that's what a person has to understand. It's not so simple. So that's what he say. It's included in the erva. Ve'asur likrot, and it's forbidden for you to recite. Ola haskir shum davar shebigedusha, or to mention anything that has to do with holiness. Anything. Neged ze kimo neged erva mamash. Just like you would not, if you would have, right? Again, this is for men. If a guy is standing over here, and then he I don't know, let's say he went to a beach where it's a naked beach, an old woman naked, he's not supposed to be there, but I'm just or whatever. One crazy woman walking naked, whatever, right? If she's like that, and you have a woman that's fully clothed, but she has open over here 2 inches, when he's looking at that woman and at her private part, just like you could understand, it's not normal to look there and say Shema. The Mishnah Berurah tells over here now, it's not normal to say Shema when it's open over here also. Again, I'm not speaking about that you're staring. She's just in your vision. That naked woman, where her private part is in your face, you're not looking. She's in your vision. Same thing with this 2-inch tavach open. She's also in your vision. He says, looking there and looking here is no different. Same thing. Rabotai, asur likrot or laskir shum davar shebegedusha neged zeh. It's forbidden for a person to recite Shema or to mention any form of kedusha, no brachot, no Torah, nothing against this, the 2 inches open. Kimo, just like you would understand, neged erva mamash, just like you can understand, you would never go and say against a woman's private area. So too, same thing, no difference. Rabotai, do you understand why I told you in the beginning? It is almost impossible. It is almost impossible. I don't know if a lot of you guys heard of Rabbi Meir Eliyahu Shlita. He one time was giving a shiur in a stadium. A lot of people came, but they didn't have a mechitza between the men and the women. He was literally like, have a Madison Square Garden. He was literally on the what do you call this? Where they play the ball on the floor. And everybody was on the bleachers. Now, literally, you had men over here, but you know how you have the aisle when people walk down? He said, I am not starting my shiur unless you put a mechitza between the men and the women. There is a rule that the Gemara brings down. It's called Halacha Moshe Misinai. That means that Moshe Rabbeinu handed it down to us, and no rabbi can argue on this law. It's called En apapatrayot la'arayot. There is no guarantee when it comes to forbidden women. I don't care who you are. You could be the biggest rabbi. You put in front of him another, you lock him up in the room, give them some time before you know they're going to sin 100%. Why is that? That is the power of the Yetzer Hara. There's a story that was told about a very big gadol that he always had the home attendant, a man home attendant watching him. And one day, it was in the old cities back there. I think they bring down that it was the Chavetz Chaim that came to the city. So when the Chavetz Chaim came to the city, everybody ran out to go see the Chavetz Chaim. So his home attendant, the guy male, also ran out to see the Chavetz Chaim. But now the elderly man on the wheelchair realized that he's alone home with the maid. He said he had no choice. He went to the window. He took his wheelchair to the window, climbed on the window, and fell from the second floor, broke a few bones. When they told him, Saba, what are you doing? They tell him, Baba, what are you doing? The children told him, Papa, what are you doing? He said, I'd rather have broken bones than Chas v'Shalom sinning with another woman. He's like, I don't understand you. You're old. She's old. What's sinning? She's 60. You're 80. What's sinning? He says, that's what you think. The Yitzhak will make her 20 and he'll make her 20 and make me 24. That's the power of the Yitzhak. He's able to steer this kind of fire inside of us that we can't even control. You don't believe it? Did it ever happen to you that somebody upset you or wronged you? Inside you have this fight. Why? What happened? Up to now you were fine. That is the power of the Yitzhak. He can make things this small, like this big. Rabotai, it's not so simple. This halacha clearly says, Asur. It is forbidden for one's own husband to recite Shema or say words of Torah or even tefillah, anything in front of his own wife when it's 2 inches open. You want to tell me that the husband's going to have bad thoughts about his own wife? Chazal, they don't make differences. Every woman, her husband we're afraid of. You want to tell me these people that deliver the lectures, you think they don't think bad? There is a rabbi in Eretz Yisrael, his name is Rabbi Ben Tzion Mutzafi Shlita. Many years ago, I heard him say, powerful rabbi, he speaks in Hebrew, if you guys able, when I was still becoming, when I was Chozer B'Teshuva, when I was coming back to religion, he said, that's the way he paskins, he said, Asur le'isha lelechet l'shi'ur shel gever. It is forbidden for a woman to go to a shi'ur where it's a man that is teaching that class. I'm not talking about that. There's men and women separate. No, up, down, no. I'm talking about only women. He said, why? Because you have to understand, each and every one of us has a Yetzer Hara. He's going to be giving a class, and he's going to be watching the woman as he's giving the class. The Yetzer Hara is going to point on one woman that he likes, because believe it or not, the law is, whether you have money, whether you have a lot of money, somebody has more than you. Whether you're strong, somebody's stronger than you. Whether you're good looking, somebody's more good looking than you. Whatever you have, there's somebody that has more. Same thing over here. Maybe he has a wife in the house that's a beautiful wife, and maybe in the class there's somebody more beautiful than his own wife, or somebody more attractive, somebody more nicer to him. So he's gonna, in his mind now, his mind starts working. He finds out she's a married woman. So what does he do? Listen to what the rabbi says. He goes, convinces the husband that he has to divorce her. And then he goes and he marries her. Before you guys jump to conclusions, go listen to this rabbi, Rabbi Mutzafi Shlita. He speaks in Hebrew. Just see who the rabbi is. When he speaks, the people tremble. He said, he warned women, you want to watch a rabbi? No problem. You want to watch Torah anytime, you want to watch Ay Torah, you want to watch Biyachad, you want to watch this, whatever you want to watch, go watch, no problem. As long as the rabbi doesn't see you. You could see him, but as long as he doesn't see you. Because otherwise, if you go there, Rabotai, there's going to be big problems. In any event, I want to read for you one more thing before I get to Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef. I just want to show you over here this whole business of Tefach Be'isha Erva and why we're so scared for a man. You know something, the Ramah says even something stronger. Again, I'm not going to get what we hold Achronim, I'm going to just tell you the Ramah. Usually when you do Halacha, there's a lot of opinions in it, so I'm just going to tell you the Ramah. V'yesh omrim davka be'ishto. There are those that say that specifically with your wife, we're going to tell you 2 inches, you're not allowed to say no bracha, no Torah, no Tehillim, nothing. You can't say anything. Right? Shema, you can't even speak to her words of Torah when she's open 2 inches. Fine. Some rabbis want to learn that specifically your wife. Aval, however, bi'isha acheret, But when you're dealing with another woman, the Rama says, afilu, listen to the language, afilu pachot mitefach. Even if it's less than a tefach, have erva, it's considered to be nakedness. According to the Rama, that if a woman has right, she has a short collarbone, if it's open down not 1 inch, not 2 inches like we were learning, a little bit down, even less than 2 inches. I don't care what, less than 2 inches over here, less than 2 inches over here, less than 2 inches by her thigh area, or above the knees, less than 2 inches. The Rama says you can't say no bracha, no Torah, no nothing. He's more strict. By the Sephardim, we go with the tefach idea. We go with 2 inches. The Ashkenazim go with less than 2 inches. Continues the Rama. The Rama says, should I get into this? Rabotai, there's a lot of halachot in this. Now I'm gonna leave the Rama out because it's not gonna be so practical for us now. But if you ever want to do it, I would strongly suggest, if you have rabbis that can teach you these halachot, or rebbetzim maybe they can teach you, or you can look up the Mishnah Berurah, they have English versions, in Siman Ein Hey, that's 75, Ein Hey is 75, Halacha Aleph. Look over there, Rabotai, Halacha Aleph Bet, right? Just look at that chapter regarding what is asur for men, where they're not allowed to recite the Krishna, to explain, to show you how easily men can get turned on. One time when I was still in St. John's, I was traveling on a bus. So I was sitting behind and there was a girl sitting in front of me. I was not religious yet. And there was a girl, she had very curly hair, like orange hair, but like an afro type. There was another guy sitting next to me. Some random guy, Jewish guy. And as we're sitting, I see he takes her hair and he's smelling it. I said, what are you doing? So why would you? He's like, she doesn't know. I enjoy it because I like the smell. It turns me on. A woman needs to understand. I would strongly suggest you guys do Siman Chav Gimel and Evna Ezet. Now that's not in English. You can have somebody else teach it to you. It would be so important for you to see the most little thing can turn a guy on. That's why it's very important for a woman to be very modest. You have to do the most you can do. That's it. The rest is up to the guys. But to put that stumbling block in front of them, like the Torah says, even look at the mikshel before a blind person, don't put a stumbling block. That's another prohibition women do when they're not modest, because now she's giving him a reason that he should look at her. Don't get their attention. You don't need it. If I'm not mistaken, there's a sefer that's called Shavi Pol Tzadik. One of the Sfarim one of the Musar Sfarim, who says, he speaks about a guy, he says, did you ever realize that if a guy's walking in the street, out of nowhere, he decides to look back, or look there, or look somewhere. He's walking, nobody's honking, nothing. He decides to look, and then he turns around and he sees an immodest woman. And he says, why did I look, right? So he says, do you know why we men look? Because when a woman dresses immodest, she has a lot of klipot on her. She has a lot of bad outside forces, like bad angels with her. When she walks out, it's thousands of them with her. So now when she's walking, each angel goes to the guy and he starts putting in his brain, look, just turn around. They're her messengers to make the guy sin. So that's why when a woman is immodest, you have to understand, you don't have good angels walking with you. You have bad angels, demons. Because every second that you're doing in the mirror, you're creating an angel. A bad angel. So it's very important to be modest, Rabotai. There's an English book that's called The Laws of Modesty, or Modesty. It's a very nice book for a woman. Or Modesty of a Woman. If you guys go to Gift World or Safra, I don't know where you guys live, but ask about the Modesty book for Modesty for Women. Just learn about it. You will see how far we are away from doing what the halacha requires of us. Okay, you know something? Let's do this. Now, I'm going to leave this off. Maybe we'll another one time next time. All right, I'm not going to get into this because I think I'm just over the time. But let's do like this. I'm just going to read for you the halacha now that we have. This is the basic understanding. Over there is a little bit more in depth. There's more than that. Over there, it's much more. But you guys get the idea. So let's do the halacha in the Otzar Dinim now. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. After that, we learn that. Now we can understand what the Shulchan Aruch is going to say. Mutar li isha likrot kriya shema. It is permissible for a woman to recite the kriya shema, ulevarech, and to bless blessings. Neged, against, tefich migula shel isha chaverta. She's allowed to go ahead and she's allowed to look at a woman who has a tefich that is revealed by her friend. Even though the way it is for it to be covered. Now, I should have done, but the Ramah says it's a very big machlok between the Rosh and the Rashba. The Ramah says, I believe it's the Rosh. Just give me 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys. Right, the Rosh says, and there's a machlok between the Rosh and the Rashba, correct. The Rosh says that this halacha that we've been speaking about now, that a guy cannot recite anything in front of a woman that has a tefach open, 2 inches open, the Rosh says it also applies to a woman. The Rashba says, what are you talking about? How does that apply to a woman? It doesn't apply to a woman. A woman, if she wants, she can say barachot all day, she can say tehillim, not Shemona Esrei, she can say tehillim, she can say whatever she wants while she's completely naked. A woman wants to go to I don't know, she wants to go, she's in the pool, or I don't know, not in the bathroom, like in a pool, in her house, I don't know. Now, whatever, she's not clothed at all. I'm talking about fully not clothed. She wants to say bracha. As long as her hair is covered, because women, when they have women have to have their hair covered when they say brachot. So, she wants to say bracha, good, let her cover her hair. She's allowed to say bracha, no problem. Even if she's completely undressed. The Rashba says, if she's allowed to say bracha when she's completely undressed, why would it make a difference if you have another woman that's open a little bit? So according to the Rashba, he says that even when you have a woman that's open, she's open, no problem. Women don't have this halakha that men have. Men have it because we're going to have bad thoughts, but women don't have it. So that's what he's telling you over here. Mutar li isha likro kriya shema. It is permissible for a woman to recite the kriya shema. Ulevarech neged tefach migule shel isha chavirta. And she's allowed to bless against an open tefach of a woman that is her friend, even though that area is always covered. And so too, neged tefach megule bebesara shala. Oh, he says also if she has an opening. Shedin she'en din tefach beisha erva noheg benashim benam leben atzmam. This whole law that I was bringing down from Simon 75 does not apply at all amongst women. Just like a man is not going to have a problem to recite in front of another man if he's wearing a tank top or a t-shirt where it's open tefach. Just like I'm allowed for a guy, a woman's allowed for a girl. That is the halacha for today. Rabotai, have a great day. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu give each and every one of you the siyata d'shamayim to be successful. When you do what Hashem says, when you do what Hashem wants, all you see is success. You see great children, you see parnas, you see bracha, you'll see shalom. All the blessings that come to a guy is only on the zuchut of a woman. What kind of woman? A woman who is modest. She brings all the berachot into the house. That's what they say, Kimchit. She had 7 sons that were gedolim. Why? Because she was very modest. Even in the house, she was modest. You want to have great children, Rabotai? This is the way to go. Have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen.